Okay.
It goes to just, his number is on the thing when you search it up.
Step 1 says simplify.
Maybe I promise you, man.
Please be aware that simplifying will never give you an answer. You cannot get an answer to this because there is no equal sign. Simplify just means write it in an easier to read manner. So of course, this is 20 plus 24a minus 1a minus 7a squared. Now you collect your like terms. The only like terms that there are the a's. 20 plus 23a minus 7a squared. That is all you need to do. If you put it in the right order, that's fine. Doesn't need to be in the 9th grade. Everything gets you 1 mark. If you have part of it correct, you get a half mark. This one, 40k minus 5 minus 8k plus 48. 40 minus 8 is 32k. Negative 5 plus 48 is plus 43. You cannot go any further because there's no equal sign. So you can't subtract something from both sides because there is only one side. Puneet.
Are you going to write our scores on our next test?
Yes, as always.
Mr. Smith, if you got 1 part wrong in half mark.
Half mark. Negative 16 equals negative negative is the same as plus. Subtract from both sides. P equals negative 85. 1 mark for everything. Divide by negative 99. X equals, looks right to me.
Isn't this supposed to be x equals not 59 equals x?
Doesn't matter. Order doesn't matter. Divide by 77. And not x, dummy head. N equals negative 2. Divide by 47. M equals 700? No. Negative 64. Times by 17. R equals 799. Negative 5x minus 25 equals negative 16x minus 14. Collect your like terms. Plus 16x plus 16x plus 25 plus 25. 11x equals 11. X equals 1. Negative 10n minus 30 equals negative 3 minus 15n minus 4n. Now here is where you guys are going to start screwing up if you haven't been paying attention. You're going to start going plus 4n to both sides. No, because you have too many n's. Negative 10n minus 30 equals negative 3 minus 19n. Now you're going to add 19n to both sides. It's going to destroy them. Then you're going to add 30 there. And you're going to get 9n equals 27. And n is going to equal 3. Then we get to here, which some of you who are paying attention may have heard Aiden and Bryn asking about. You follow the rules. Distribute 108b minus 60 equals 11 plus 108b. Minus 108b minus 108b plus 60 plus 60. 0b equals 71. Now, some of you are going to tell me the answer is 0. You are going to have written b equals 0, which means that you would put a 0 right there, yes? No. 0 times 0 is not 71, is it?
No.
Is there any number times 0 that will equal 71? No. So this question, when you get to here, you have to stop and say it is what in math we call undefined. There is no number that works there. You get the full mark if you got to here.
How much was these questions worth?
Everything is worth 1. If you get some of it right, you get a half mark.
I didn't do this.
So you get 0.
Yep.
Okay?
I still copied the top down.
I'm glad. That is kind of the point. That's why I do this. I trust you to be honest. The reason what bothers me is when people report 29 and 29 on every review and then fail the test.
What's that page out of?
Everything is worth 1. So that page is out of 10. Everybody stop. Everything is worth 1. If you have some of it correct, you give yourself a half. Go through it. Negative 35x minus 60 plus 9x minus 6 equals 1 minus 9x minus 9x minus 11. Collect your like terms. Negative 35 plus 9 is negative 26x. Negative 60 minus 6 is negative 66 equals 1 minus 11 is negative 10. Negative 9 minus 9 is negative 18x. Collect your like terms. Plus 26x, plus 26x, plus 10, plus 10. Negative 56 equals positive 8x. X equals negative 7. Any questions? If you have questions, obviously you would just watch the video again later, because I'm not telling you anything new. Okay? I'll change colors because these are getting busy. Negative 48v minus 24 plus 5 equals negative 5v plus 45 minus 35v. Collect like terms, like we have done every time. Minus 48v. Negative 24 plus 5 is negative 19. I can't do that in my head, Mr. Myers. Get out your calculator. Negative 5 minus 35. Negative 40v plus 45. Which is smaller? 48. It moves.
29.
Where?
48 minus 19. 29?
I didn't do 48 minus 19. Where did I do 48 minus 19? 48v. That disappears those. So that means letters are gone on the left, so that means numbers are gone on the right. That and that. Negative 40 plus 48 is 8v. 19 and 45 is negative 64. Divide by 8. V equals negative 8. Remember, if in doubt, the nice thing about algebra is you can always go and check. You can plug it in up here and see if it works. Everybody good with algebra? Up to 12. Okay. Now we get into inequalities. Write 3 numbers that are okay. Did I specify what kind of numbers they had to be?
No.
Can they be integers?
Yes.
Can they be decimals?
Yes.
Can they be fractions? Yes. As long as it is greater than -3. So I put a number line here to help you out. Where's -3?
Right there.
Right there. Where is greater than -3?
This way.
To the right. So every number from -3 to positive infinity is the right answer here.
But, actually, never mind, I'll do that.
Okay. Got it? I'm not going to write down every number because the choices are infinite, as long as they are bigger than -3. Remember, bigger than -3 means going to the right. So most of you will have -2 as your first answer, if you did it right. Because most of you are lazy and will use 2, 1, and 0, which is fine, as long as you're aware that all the infinite fractions in there also count. This one, Mr. Myers was mean. He didn't actually give us the number line labeled. So you're going to label it. What's the only number that matters? 0 is the letter first. So I need to go less than 0. So everything down there but 0 is included. So most of you will have gone 0, -1, -2, would be my guess if I walked around and looked at papers. Greater than or equal to -1. Most of you will have -1, 0, 1. Less than 6, 5, 4, 3 was what most of you will have. You did that one right?
No, I did the 5, 4, 3.
Yeah. Okay? They're worth 1 mark each. Write this inequality. I have a closed dot on 0, and I don't like the way this program makes their inequalities. It just puts the arrow right there. It's a little bit hard to see, but nobody asked me about it, so I trusted everyone could see it. X is less than or equal to 0. Will I accept 0 is greater than or equal to X?
Yeah.
Yes, because they're the same thing. Both of those are acceptable. This one, X is greater than 2, no equals, or 2 is less than X. Both of them are the same. I will accept either one. Okay? Solve it and graph it. Plus 6, plus 6. D is greater than 10. 10, circle, graph, done. 2f plus 1, minus 1, minus 1. 2f is less than -4. Divide by positive 2, so the sign doesn't change. -2, circle, less. Questions? Gouda?
Is that question worth 2?
Everything is worth 1. I think I said it once or twice.
Absolutely said it. Everything is 1 mark.
Yeah. And then I said at least once or twice, if you have part of it right, you get a half mark. So I'm hoping that between the 70 times I've repeated it and the review recording, you guys will figure it out. Solve each inequality. Again, nothing changes. What should move, 4 or 2? 2, because it's smaller. And we deal with the letters first. When? When is the only time we want to do something to letters first? Pardon?
When there's more letters than 1.
When there's more than one letter, we have to deal with them first. But, what if I have this? 2x plus 7 minus 3x is less than 4x plus 2 minus 5x. Can I deal with crossing the boundary yet?
No.
Why?
Because,
I got too many x's on each side. Okay? Once you get to here, one letter on one side, one letter on the other side, then we deal with letters first. Okay? And we're going to do that by doing minus 2j, minus 2j. That's going to disappear the letters from the right, so numbers must disappear from the left. 2j greater than or equal to 4. I've only added and subtracted, so I don't change the sign. Then I divide by positive 2. Does the sign change? No. Then I graph it. 4, circle, color, follow the line because letters first. Should be 2. Thank you. 2 and 2. This one always confuses people because it looks weird. Looks don't matter. We follow the rules. Do I have too many letters? Yeah, I'm only allowed to have one. So I got to move one of those letters. Which one? K or negative K? Negative K. So I add a K to both sides. Now how many Ks do I have? K plus K is 2 Ks. These are gone, which means the letters are on the left. The numbers need to go to the right. Plus 2, plus 2. 2K is less than 4. What do I divide by? Positive 2. So does the sign change? No.
There isn't.
2, circle, that way. Open circle. Even though it looks bad, we just follow what we already know how to do, which is get the letter by itself. Would you reverse? No, because you're not dividing by a negative, you're dividing a negative. Would you reverse? Yes. Would you reverse? Yes, because you are multiplying by a negative. Would you reverse? No. I'm being real nice. 4 marks there. 1 for everything. Now solve it. Divide by 2. Z less than negative 2. Divide by negative 2. X less than or equal to negative 2. Multiply by negative 2. C greater than negative 8. And multiply by 2. V greater than or equal to negative 8. Good? Solve each and graph. One letter. So do I deal with the letter or the numbers first? Numbers. How do I get rid of adding 4? Subtract 4 from both sides. I've only subtracted. Does the sign change? Now what? What do I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of times negative 3. So what do I do? Divide by negative 3. Uh-oh, I'm dividing by a negative, so what happens to the sign? Changes. And this is? Positive 3. 3, close dot, goes left. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, yeah? This one. 2 letters, but only 1 on each side. Do I deal with numbers or letters first?
Letters.
I've always told you to deal with the letters. Some of you refuse to listen to me. So I'm going to do something weird here. I'm going to do this with numbers first. Okay? And watch. It's not going to make a difference. Okay? So I'm going to do the way you guys want to do it. Because you might say, read the letter to the end. Because I only listen when he talks. I don't actually listen to what he's saying. Okay? Fine. So let's deal with the numbers first. Which is smaller, negative 2 or positive 2? Negative 2. So it's got to be dealt with, yes? Plus 2, plus 2. Cool? So that's gone. Numbers are gone from the right, so I must need to get my letters over here, yeah? So negative n, negative n. 4 is less than, what's 2n minus 1n? N. Cool? Now, only number that matters is 4. Open dot. Is the letter first? No. So do I follow the sign? No. I go that way. Cool? Now, if I do it the way I told you guys to do it, which is letters first when it looks like this, same thing, right? I'm still moving this n over here, right? Because the n is smaller than 2n. Still is going to work out the same. Doesn't matter. Where it's going to screw you up is if this n was negative. If you move the letters first, sometimes you're left with a negative letter. But then you know how to fix that. You divide by -1. Once you divide by -1, you flip the sign anyway. It's just an extra step. And a great many of you forget extra steps. So I try to teach you the way to do it with the fewest steps as possible. Especially those of you that aren't learning math, that are learning the steps. And we are going to end with these two fairly difficult ones. This is a good example of what I was just saying. Okay? Because if we do this way, numbers first, we end up having to do an extra step, don't we? If I do this letters first, easy peasy. I'm going to end up with a positive letter, which is what I want. But if I do it numbers first, I'm going to end up with a negative letter, but I still know how to fix that. So it really doesn't matter which way you go about doing it, correct? Because you have the steps you need to fix the problem, even if it looks different, right? Should I do both?
No.
Or just the way I've always done it? The way I would do this is I would start with the m. Plus m, plus m. -3, -3. -8 is less than 2m. -4 is less than m. Graph it, -4, circle, go that way. If I do this the way you guys want to, the way you've been paying attention, if you haven't been paying attention, you say, gotta move the smaller one first. You're going to move this 5, aren't you? No, I'm not saying you, Perry, but I'm saying it makes sense if you haven't really been paying attention to move the smallest number first, right?
Yeah.
So if you did that, I'm going to erase this. You've all seen the right answer. You've marked your own. If you move the 5 first, watch what happens. Now the numbers are gone from this side, so I've got to get the letters over here, right? So -m, -2m is less than 8, yeah? Divide by -2, m is greater than 4. And it's the same number, same exact graph. Right? It's just the letter is first now, so it's easier to draw. I don't care which way you do it. Either way, you've got to remember math. Right? Not a method. You have to remember the math you are doing. And then this one, where should you start?
Times 2.
You could do everything times 2. You could get rid of this 2 by multiplying everything times 2. That's one way you could do it, which would get you 4 minus x is greater than 2, right? Now, we don't like a negative x, so we could move it right now. Or we could do -4, -4. Negative x is greater than -2. Don't want a negative x, so we divide by -1. X is less than +2. That's one way you could have done it, yeah? You also could have done this. Get rid of this 2 first, -2. -2. Negative x over 2 is greater than -1. Now multiply this side by -2, because that will get rid of my negative and my 2, won't it? Leaving me with positive x. Since I multiply by negative, I flip the sign. -2 times -1 is +2, and you get the same thing. Okay? Once again, I remind you, I cannot stress this enough. Understanding the math allows you the flexibility to do the math with more ease than memorizing steps. Sadly, I will only see you guys for 20 days. Sadly, that lesson will get lost on you by approximately the middle of September. But with any luck, it will stick in some of your heads. Once your teacher says why, this is why it works, that's when you start paying attention. Extra much. Bryn,
Can you see the negative there?
where?
Like, the C right there? Because like, 8 divided by -2 is -4.
Oh yeah. Sorry. That was the second time I did it.
What's the whole thing on?
35-ish, I think. I don't know. There you go.
I didn't do it. How much did you do?
Those are teachers' favorite ones.
Pardon me?
Those are teachers' favorite ones. The ones you guys don't do. They're the easiest to mark.
I actually did good on this.
Good. You did well on it. Doing good would be like going out and feeding the hungry.
Multiple choice is the easiest to mark.
No. The easiest to mark is math of high school kids who refuse to learn math because then they just leave it blank. My favorite thing is when I give a question that's all just adding and subtracting, but it's really long, and kids leave it blank and they say they can't do it. I love that. Because then I say, you can't add and subtract. Yes, I can! And then they get all mad at me.
Then they go all lawyer.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, what's that question? What are all those symbols? Well, and then they walk away. It's my favorite. All right, you're going to report that to me tomorrow. It is 12:54. We are supposed to be here for, no, you were not chilling for 16 minutes. I do not trust you. You guys waste enough time. You will be writing a test tomorrow, third block. There will be no warm-up for it. You are expected to know how to do this.
Is it gonna be good this tomorrow?
Huh? Clabberhead Utterbunk should be finished for tomorrow.
What is
Is it for
that?
Mark?
The back,
Is that the answer?
yes.
Oh.
So you all got something you can be doing. Because ain't nobody done that sheet except maybe these three.
I am now because you just gave me the answer.
This.
Yeah, we're almost done. I have 2 questions left.
Okay, again,
Lover done?
I'm going to be a lawyer. Almost done isn't done.
Stupid.
Did you do your homework?
You is stupid.
Most of it.
I almost
No. Okay? Are you pregnant? Mostly. No. You are or you aren't.
Pregnant? Almost.
If you're almost pregnant, I want to know about it. Because that would have been happening right here. What?
Go to the washroom?
Yes.
What?
Exactly. Recorded that.